What is going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday indeed.
I am Justin, aka No Good Comics, and with me, as always, on this show, on this side,
It's
Morbius. What's going on, Morbius? How you
What's
doing,
going
bro?
on, man? How you been, brother?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Another
Today,
Tuesday. These weeks are flying by, man.
I'm feeling real good about today, and I think you know why.
Why is it? Why is that? Why are you feeling good, bro?
I'm feeling really good today because we have something special for the people today. And it's
Absolutely.
a special guest that we have on today. That's dear to my heart because this brother right here is somebody that I'm not even gonna. I'm even gonna say no more. I'm not even gonna say no more. You know what I mean?
We're gonna bring this man in fashion here.
Let's just bring him in.
We'll let him explain himself as he's here.
Exactly.
We want to welcome our very first guest, Skeme Richards. What's going on,
Richards?
What up?
Welcome to the show, brother.
What's good? Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, man. I'm
Thank
excited for tonight. Looking forward to being here with you brothers because you guys been holding it down with the comic relief, man. Like we a couple episodes in, and already like each one is like has been on point so far. So I'm excited to add and contribute to what you guys got going on.
Dope,
man.
Brother Skeme. So for those who don't know who you are, which they should really feel bad about that, please let them know who you are, what you do, and what you about, my brother.
Yo, Philly. I'm a Philly representative all day. I'm a DJ. I travel the globe DJing and rocking parties.
That's right.
Producer, collector of all things from vintage toys to vintage movie posters, BMX bikes, arcade machines, pinball machines, and of course, the reason why we're here, comic collector.
Comics, baby.
I like that background of yours, man. I like
Hell
the
yeah, I loving that background.
All the vintage goods,
Man, and I already know. I've seen more of that. That's nothing.
Right.
That's nothing. He playing games with us right now with that little background. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. I gotta.
Zoom him in.
I just had to see what else he had. All right, I see, man. He's got all the goods, man.
Look at
so we got the Evil Knievel, we got the Star Wars Death Star, and
nice.
G.I. Joe.
Insane, man. Insane.
Well, that is cool, man. Very cool. Thank you for as Morbius saying, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Man.
I've been seeing you in the chats. Obviously, we've been talking offline, talking on Instagram. So it's a pleasure to finally be able to connect with you virtually. And as we were just talking behind stage, one day we'll all be able to meet up, as you are not too far either. So that really works out.
Right.
So with all that being said, as we mentioned, this is our show now, episode 5 that we're on right now.
Yeah, man.
Comic
Tense. Wow, time flies, really.
So it totally does. So and anybody that's whether you're watching this now or you're catching the replay, take a moment, hit the thumbs up first and foremost. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.
Definitely.
And then, of course, Morbius here has just created his YouTube account recently, so make sure that you are subscribed to him. His link is down in the description below, as well as Skeme Richards' information as well. You can find him over on Instagram at Skeme Richards. And then also, Skeme, I put your website in the link there as well, Nostalgia King. Really cool stuff, a lot of things that you're talking about and things that you write upon. I saw you even put our stuff in there. Really appreciate you for that.
Dope,
yes, sir.
And make sure y'all hit that website because the brother got a lot of material. He got new stuff he put out. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the show, we'll make sure we let him, do his promotion and put his stuff out there so y'all know exactly what we're talking about. But y'all gonna love it, man. Y'all gonna love it. Before we even keep going, I mean, we just gotta do a quick little salute and cheers. As you know, this is something we do here on the show. We like to start the show off right. A little cheers. So salute to my brothers. Salute to a great show. Cheers.
Cheers to you, bro.
I want to ask you, Skeme, what you drinking today?
Oh man, I'm drinking Balvenie 14.
Ooh,
that's nice.
Smooth, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Ooh,
that's a Scotch, right?
It's Caribbean cask, aged in Caribbean cask. So
nice.
It's got that nice flavor to it,
Nice. Definitely sounds good. Who we got in the chat, Justin?
Let's say a quick hello to everybody because I see we got 9 people hanging out with us at the moment and we haven't even begun yet. So let's say a quick hello. We had Alstrand's Comics hanging out early. Have a blast, fellas. I'll pop in when I can and catch the rewind. Absolutely, man. Appreciate
Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for catching the rewind. We appreciate it all the way.
That's right. And my man Sith Lordly also in the house.
What's going on? Hey, bro. I saw that story you posted.
Oh yeah, with Sith. With Vader. Yeah.
With Vader. Yeah.
I had to give Sith a shout out there. Him and his girl.
That was awesome.
You know, and it's funny because I didn't even get that from Sith, but his name just made me think of that.
Right, it just made you think of
my
that.
buddy Bill.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
my buddy Bill.
Skeme, basically, he put a story. It looks like a little kid. You know how they jumble the words up, and then you got to figure out what the word was. Yeah. So the word was actually jumbled up, and the word was this, but the little kid wrote Sith.
Yeah.
When he saw it in his mind as a Star Wars freak, he was like Sith. So the teacher crossed it out and was like, "No, this."
Yo, wait a minute! Did you share that?
Yeah, it's on his story. It's on Justin's story.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, it's hilarious, man.
Had to reshare.
Yeah, that was awesome, man.
We got PJ in the house. Paul
PJ, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, man?
We also stopping by.
TM Nerdy. That's
TM
Travis.
Nerdy.
Good to see you, Travis.
On? Thanks, Travis. I think I just started. I subbed him up.
He just joined the Discord recently.
We
got my man Ragin. Oh, speaking of the Discord, we got to get Skeme in there.
Yeah, we definitely got to get Skeme, man. Definitely.
We'll talk to you about it.
Yeah. We'll talk about it
for sure. Good to see you, Ragin, as always. We also have Chet Knight in the house. My man Chet. So he's Philly. Does that mean he's not a Philly fan? He's a Washington fan, Washington football team fan. But
Philly, does that mean Eagles?
Oh man, dude. I mean, man, you got to ride with hometown. Like you got to ride with home just because it's hometown. Win, lose, or draw.
For sure.
You got to ride with hometown.
There you go.
You know, I mean, but growing up, I was a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I wasn't even an Eagles fan. I was a Steelers fan, and that's 6 hours away. Like that's
right.
But you got to ride with hometown, regardless.
There you go. Facts.
Well, shout out to Chet. He's actually going to be my guest at 9:00 tonight on my other show with John's Comics for Kids. So Chet's actually going to be on the screen. Right. So good to see you, Chet. We also got Steve.
What's good, bro?
Good to see you, brother. We got Unruly Simeon as well. Thanks for stopping
by. Appreciate you so much.
Martin, NYC. He's also in our Discord. So good to see you, brother.
Do I see a Millennium Falcon in the background? Skeme?
Oh,
yes, you do. A box Millennium Falcon.
Right there. Yeah. It's right there.
That is dope. All this classic stuff.
That's why he is known also as Mr. Nostalgia, man.
That's right.
That's the man right there, Mr. Nostalgia. Bro, he is no freaking joke.
I love it.
What up,
got Thomas Jackman.
What's going on, Thomas?
And we also got my boy Raul Hialeah. Hello.
All right. What's going on?
We got Michelle in the house.
Michelle.
What's up, Michelle? Oh,
What's going on? Oh, there we go. What's up? We just linked up too. We just linked up today, man.
Yep.
We're showing each other love on IG.
Hell yeah.
Peace. Got some dope stuff.
I think we're caught up at the moment. We had 12 people in here, so appreciate you guys hanging out. So the topic, if you guys didn't know already, we're talking about the difference between newsstand comic books and direct edition comic books.
Yes.
We wanted to bring this up because there's a lot of miscommunication about it. I feel like there are people who are not doing the research or understanding exactly what the differences are.
Right.
And when that happens, you get people that might be selling some of these books and trying to highlight things that aren't necessarily a special highlight about the book.
Right.
So it all goes to, we encourage you to do your research and make sure you know what you're buying and what you're spending your money on. So if you guys don't know what we're talking about, I do want to just bring this up.
Perfect.
This is, let me see if I can just bring this up for a sec.
There you go.
So this little barcode here, as you can see, this is from X-Men 102, and this was from 76 from Claremont stuff. This is technically what we're referring to as a newsstand copy. However, the actual difference between newsstand and direct edition didn't actually happen until 79.
Right.
So this was actually an example I wanted to show, and I will get into it, but I just wanted to give everybody an example in case they didn't know what we were talking about. We're talking about when you see either a barcode or you might see the little Spider-Man symbol. Do you have the let me highlight you there. More, hold on one sec.
There you go.
So that's direct edition. That's one example.
Right.
There's a few different example, but yeah. So anybody that might have seen that, that's kind of what we're talking about today. The difference is understanding what they're about. So Morbius, I'm gonna start off with you first and just ask you kind of what are your thoughts on it? Do you have a personal preference yourself when you're collecting?
Well, yes, in a sense I do, because when I started to collect I started collecting when newsstands started, matching. Well, actually, when direct issues started matching newsstands, which was about 85, 86, where they were about 50-50 even now, where you had the same amount of newsstands that you had the same amount of direct editions. So around that, but where I grew up at was the corner store right by Yankee Stadium was a newsstand. So I would always go to the newsstand to pick up comic books. So I would say about 80% of my comics are mostly newsstand because of that. So I have a slight preference over newsstand only because of the nostalgic of it bringing me back to my childhood is why. Because as far as a value, that's not really why. Right. You know what I mean? I'm not chasing the book because of its value. I'm chasing it because of the memories and the history and the fact of what, the what it gives me, what it makes me feel when I look at it, Yeah. So I'm going to say I do tend to lean towards newsstand, but I do understand the concept and how it works when you're talking about newsstand, depending on what year you're talking about newsstand and actually what publisher, because there's publishers like, let's say Image Comics really didn't have a lot of newsstand comics when they came out. They actually have, I believe it was a 2% compared to all the direct issue. They only have 2% newsstands in the 90s. And that was when Spawn and all these guys were coming out. That's why the Spawn newsstand, it's so valuable. Because it's such a rare issue to find, you know, even though it's in the 90s, So that's why I'm going to say I lean more towards newsstands for that effect.
Okay. Yeah.
What about you, Skeme?
Yeah, I was going to say, Skeme, where do you stand with this?
I'm 100% right there with you. Like, I come from the era of collecting comics like 78, 79, where it was newsstands like that. Like, that's corner store. You went to the corner store, you go get your book. I remember coming home from Taekwondo class, walking, and I would have to stop at the 7-Eleven and I would stop and grab comic books. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's all about the newsstand edition.
Yeah.
As a collector, I kind of just want the book in general.
Right.
But for nostalgia's sake, it's like, you definitely want that newsstand just because it brings back good times of taking your 25 cents and walking up to the corner, getting a comic book, getting a little juice, getting the ice cream, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's about the newsstand edition. And like you said, like later on, this like Spawn is a prime example. Yeah. It's the reason why certain ones are like just that much more valuable. But in other cases, like, it kind of goes hand in hand. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm right there with you.
What about you, Justin? What's your take on it?
Well, and I wanted to highlight this too, because Thomas Jackman was saying, I personally think newsstand versus direct is a scam. He said it doesn't make me any difference which one that I have. So kind of what you were saying there, Skeme, too, of like you just want the book,
right?
First and foremost, over anything. But I mean, I totally get the idea of it, and I get his feeling on what Thomas was just saying about it being a scam, and that there's a lot of hype around the idea of just newsstands in general. It's like, oh, you got the newsstand copy? Well, that's worth, X amount more or whatever. And that's if we're even talking about value, which we are not. Normally, Morbius, you and I, we're not necessarily buying a lot of these things just for this value purpose.
Absolutely not.
But for those who might be, or for those who are looking to
who chasing it,
right. Or even if you're just in a shop and you have a choice of A or B, and you don't know what to buy, and you are looking to get a little bit more of your money's worth. They're both, if they're both $1 or whatever. I mean, I would say grab both, but if you are if you were to only buy one, the biggest thing is to just understand, as you said, Morbius, the time era of when these first kicked in, when they were balanced between the two of them, and then when one got more rare than the other. So, So for me personally, I like to collect newsstand for certain runs. So my example I brought out before was, this is you guys might know this book. It might be familiar.
I don't know. I've never seen that one.
Never seen that one.
What is that? Iron Man?
Yeah, it's some book I found. But this was Newsstand, and when I got this, I immediately wanted to go and get all of Todd McFarlane's Amazing Spider-Man run, which is 298 all the way to 328. And so, as a personal goal of mine, I wanted to go and get all Newsstand. And again, that didn't mean necessarily anything in terms of value or that I was going to sell it, because this is a PC book. This is not going anywhere for a very long time. It's something I'm keeping, but I just like the idea of it. And it gave me a little something special to hunt, when I was going hunting.
Right.
So I would go find, sometimes I would find like a $2.98 or $2.99, and I would see that it wasn't Newsstand, and I'd be like, man, it's just not for my collection. It's not what I want for this particular run. So it made it more fun in a sense, because it was hard. It was harder to, I actually just completed it last year, and it was just a fun journey. So for me personally, it's a little bit more for the journey, but I definitely understand the idea that yes, the Newsstand can be more valuable depending on the year.
Yes.
And my thing that I'm just trying to highlight to everybody is, if you go to eBay and you go to try to buy something and somebody's selling a book from 1977, which is 2-3 years before this whole direct even came out, and they're trying to highlight it and say, hey, this is Newsstand, make sure you buy Newsstand. That's where I want to warn people and say, don't fall for that, because that part is like a scheme, the way Thomas was pointing out.
That is a scam right there. That's the scam right there, because
from the seller,
right, from the point of view of the seller, right? He's scamming you because he's trying to sell you this Newsstand, which at that era, it's not valuable. When you compare it to a direct issue, I would rather get the direct issue than the Newsstand if you're going to sell it to me as a value point.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? At that era, because that's something that a lot of people don't understand. So, and another thing too that what we got here, poor Mike.
No, sorry, go ahead. I'm just highlighting.
All right, cool. Go for it. Hey guys, what's going on, VP? So basically, like, let's say, all right. So now, when you go back to the late 70s, it was at that time is when it was all Newsstand before everything. It was all Newsstand because everything was sold through Newsstand. And then people, obviously, when you had a Newsstand edition, you was able to sell it back to the publisher. You was able to send it back to the publisher because you wasn't making your money. You're like, hey, I'm sitting on all these books. And of course, you have to front the shipping. So now the way they would get over on that was, if you realize, which I was like blown away about it when I realized it, that they were cutting half of the cover off, the top title off, and then sending that in. And that was proof that, hey, listen, but it would cut the weight on the shipping, so they would save some money on shipping. So that's why when you see these old school Silver Age books that are the covers are cut in half, and you're like, who the fuck would do that? Who's the asshole who would do that? But it was because that's how they saved money when sending it back to the publisher, because they were sitting on so many books that weren't moving. So then they figured out there has to be a better way. So then that's when you started getting comic shops started coming in late 70s, early 80s. It started blowing up, the comic shops. And that's when direct issues, now that was their way of now saying, hey, let's figure out a better way of sending these books back. And that's when you started seeing the slash across the barcode. That because then now those books that they were getting back, they were like, hey, let's just print it on this. And then now you can't send them back. And now you stuck with that book. Right. So that's how they changed the game. They were like, no, now there's no refund in that book. You keep that book, but they were cheaper than newsstands. Direct comic issues were cheaper than newsstands at that time. Yeah. So it made it cost effective to go pick up a direct issue over a newsstand, at that time. Yeah. So that's something that I wanted to put out there for people who, who were probably wondering like why they cut these covers back then. And that's what it was. Yeah.
Those covers being cut, to me, that even adds even more value in a sense, because there's like there's a historical lineage.
It's a story to it.
Right, exactly.
So I know a lot of people frown down on that, but I'm like, that just tells a story of where that book has been. Right. Some people don't want like the date stamp on it, but I'm like, but like if the shop owner or the newsstand owner stamped that book in 1979, I'm like, that's just a part of history of that book. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like, I mean, of course you want a full cover, but if it's a rare book and the cover's slashed, like, I'm good.
If the money's good,
why
not? Why not? Yeah. Or you have those military stamps, the stars. Yes. In the military base, you would see the star on it.
I like those too.
Yeah, I like those. For a moment there, I was almost this close to just start chasing those.
Some people do. Some people do. Some people
I was this close. Yeah. I got a few of them, and then I'm like, let me stop, man. Let me stop chasing these.
Yeah. The other thing I like too is the subscription crease down the middle.
Oh, yeah.
I actually don't mind those. Like and especially you can get them for a deal usually because they're
because they got the grade. They so-called damage.
Yeah, I like the idea scheme, like you're saying, like it gives that story that that either some kid had this or because sometimes they fold them up, put them in your back pocket. That was very normal back in the day too, and then you sit on your comic. So it has a couple different stories to it. Even, you know, I laugh at even like I have a couple old like Silver Age books that might even have a name like written on, like a little kid, like a little kid written on it. Yeah.
Yep, I love
so, you know, as long as it doesn't affect, you know, certain parts of artwork or things like that, I can live with certain things like that. And like I said, you can get like a discount of some sort. So
yeah, like I bought this book recently, this DC book called Love 1971, and it was like a romance comic. But the artwork on the cover is so like psychedelic and like it's just a dope cover. It's an expensive book, and I got it on the cheap, but it had a name scribbled in on the first page. And I was like, you know, most collectors would definitely be like, oh man, I don't want that. The cover is definitely like a 7, and trying to find that book in a 7 condition is extremely hard. Like it's a romance comic. I mean, those were normally thrown around, and you know, like it had a name on it. I'm like, this tells a story. Because whoever this girl Pam is, Pam had this book, you know, in 1971. So I don't mind like certain defects, you know, I don't mind those things because it's just like it's history with the book.
Yep. Yeah. You're spot on. I think you're spot on.
Yep. Exactly.
I wanted to highlight poor Mike saying that he likes it too for the story or when a book is well loved. Unruly says I don't care for the date stamp. Used to be I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah.
Breaker for me. Oh, deal breaker.
Deal breaker. You type fast.
To decipher that. Now I own a few books with them. Yeah, like I mean, you know, I'm not necessarily hunting them down per se. But you know, if there's an opportunity where there's a book that I had wanted to get and a date stamp is on there, a lot of times mentally I will say, oh, that's even cooler. You know, and I'll buy it for that. In other words, I won't let it deter me from buying it necessarily.
And 99% of the time, the book is in way crispier condition because nobody wants to mess with it. Nobody wants to touch it. So the book is very clean and very cheap just because of that stamp. So I'll snatch it up. I got a few stamps in my collection. So
like I would much rather have a stamp that was done in 19 whatever versus a signature that was signed by the artist in 2021 and going over the artwork. I'm like, you ruined the signature.
Right. Because that stamp, you won't get that stamp anymore.
You won't get that. You won't see that.
Exactly. So I prefer that over the signature messing up the artwork.
True indeed, man.
I like that poor Mike here says, as long as the book ain't haunted by the Thomas says he loves collecting the old romance books too. There's some that are definitely hard to find and shape. And you know, I talked about I've heard some people talk about another reason why they just prefer their books to be like a little more, we'll use the word loved, is because of that very background of like, yes, somebody read this. They read this a lot of times. Like if like almost like if you find a book from, I don't know, let's just say you find a book from the golden age, like 1940s, 1950s, and it is like a 9.0, it's almost like out of character in a way. You know what I mean? I mean, it's impressive. Right. Don't get me wrong, it's impressive, but you know, at the same time, and it's probably worth a lot of money when it's up that high. But you know, at the same time, it almost takes you out of like, was that real? Like,
was that right? Is this real?
A book from the 40s should have some be beat up a little.
Something, man. Give me some creases, spine ticks, something, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
Chat here says, when that direct edition started out, it made people all giddy because Spidey appeared rather than the boring old barcode. So that's another thing I wanted to point out too, was the fact that they used the Spider-Man design. I know some people who prefer that because they look at it as, hey, that's another piece of art that I'm getting on my book, which is totally cool. I mean, it's you know, that's how you want to view it. That's a great way to look at it.
Yeah, right.
It is another piece of art. So, and you can get some cool ones too, especially McFarlane. You know, McFarlane does all those cool
he always adds a little artwork, and with every book you pick up, it like sometimes it's almost like it's a continuation.
Right.
He might do a little artwork, and it just keeps going. If you pick up all the books and you do a little flip through, you'll see the little motion caption of the story, going through. So that's pretty dope. Yeah, definitely.
What about like with DC? How DC would do like Who Watches the Watchmen?
Right.
Oh,
that's right.
Those.
That's right. Good one, Skeme.
Or the DC comics aren't just for kids.
Yes.
Seen that.
You know what I'm saying? So
classic.
It's like it has its place. Like it looks cool. You know, it looks cool.
Right.
So I don't discriminate really against it. I'm like, you know, whatever. It just Spidey looks cool in the corner.
Right.
You know, I wouldn't mind a Thor hammer in the corner. You know, just something cool. Like so.
Cool.
I'm totally with you guys on that. And like I said before, I think the main thing to really highlight here for anybody watching or anybody that's like learning from this is to just make sure you don't overspend just because it's this or that, or whatever the case may be. Like newsstands nowadays, I mean, not nowadays, but I know they stopped them in the early 2000s, right? 2013, I think is
Marvel stopped at 2013. DC Comics stopped at 2017.
Okay, so if you see something in the like they say 90s newsstands are rare. You know, they're more rare.
90s
anything on 90s and on is definitely if you can get those, and that's cool. And I want to say too, Skeme, what you were showing before with the writing on some of those patches. I remember there's the X-Men first Sinister 221 220 222
I think
so there are 3 different versions of that book. There's the direct edition, there's the newsstand edition, and then there's what they called the classic, and it had a little it said classic under the title, and it had a writing similar to the ones you were showing, Skeme. I forget what it said. I wish I had the thing, but I know that those technically are very rare compared to some of the other things. So for people, again, just trying to weed out the point of views of if you are looking for those rare ones, they are out there, and there are, you just got to do your research.
It's like that book, especially like the one I have on my wall, is the direct edition. I have the newsstand and the direct edition. Direct edition is on my wall. And the newsstand I got put away, but that's only because I want to make sure my newsstand stays crispy, only because that's my baby, newsstand. But the direct edition actually knocks the newsstand out. So as far as value goes,
that's right.
That's so if people want to look at it like that, and that's something that's very important, guys. Make sure you know what you're picking up and what year the book came out, and stop following this FOMO newsstand thing. You know what I mean? Come on, guys. Like you said earlier, like look at our first appearance of Rogue, you know what I mean? The annual, you know what I mean? That's a perfect example, right? Came out that was 80, 81.
Yeah, I think
81, right? And that's a book that everyone is like, oh, newsstand, dude. The direct edition is actually worth more than the newsstand edition, but everybody chases that newsstand, you know? And so that's something that you guys always make sure y'all keep that in mind, man. When y'all picking up these books, don't let eBay fool you with this newsstand shit, because they will get you. They will get you, and everyone else will follow along, and then you believe the hype of the newsstand. So guys, make sure y'all watch it.
Yeah, we're living in an era of hype, and everybody wants the next thing, wants to be on like what's the hot, and it's just like, yo, like what coming up, I didn't care what it was. It was like I just want the book.
Right. Like that
reader, I just wanted the book.
Like I remember, Justin, last year, me and you were going back and forth when we first met on your Spider-Man 300 run. And I told you, I was like, my whole run, that whole McFarlane run for me is all direct issues. Because at that time I was already older. I was already I think I was 15, 16. So I was no longer going to that. I was no longer living there. So I was picking up all my books at the comic shop. I wasn't going to the newsstand no more.
Sure.
So that whole Spider-Man run from 280 all the way up to wherever it's at, most of those are just all direct issues.
Yeah.
And I remember we had spoken. Remember, I had told you we were going over it, and I laid all my books out because I was like, I love them. I love my direct issues. So I put them all out to show all the different artwork that Todd McFarlane did.
Totally.
And I did a little story on it, and that's how we connected. And you was like, yeah, all of mine are newsstand. And I was like, you bastard. But it's all good. I was like, look at this guy.
Like how you slide that in there.
Yeah.
Hold up. Yo, give a salute to all of the bastards out there.
Yeah, all the bastards. This is for you bastards. Enjoy. Salute.
It's hilarious. I wanted to point out here, Martin said, date stamps I don't mind, but if there's a marker that's a deal breaker. A marker, he says, saw FF48 where a dude gave the Watcher a Hitler style mustache and hair. He said, yikes. He said it was on eBay, and I could agree, that's a deal breaker for me.
Right.
I don't know about that.
If it disrespects the art or the character, then you don't want to. They purposely did that. If it's a little kid, you know, signing something, that's one thing.
You know, that's okay. And I get a kick out of that.
I wanted to highlight this before. MJ was saying, loving the information, guys. Just appreciate that. Really appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
He said, I've been buying newsstand copies for years now, but since the boom last year, I haven't been able to buy any more due to pricing. I love getting Mark Jewelers. That's another
Mark Jewelers. That's
another good one.
We gotta, you know what? We gotta work on that one. We're gonna definitely come back to the Mark Jewelers. I don't want to jump into that now because there's a few things that I want to touch on. So we might make that another topic for another episode because there's some things about the Mark Jeweler I definitely want to get into. But today is not the day for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely I agree, man. You know, just gotta watch those. You know, like I said, man. As long as you do your homework, you'll be fine, and don't stay away from the FOMO.
Yeah,
you'll be doing great. You know what we got. I'm all about the old day stamps, old books. Cool with the signatures too, though. See, I don't like the signatures. I don't. You know what? I'll be that guy to tell you to sign the inside of the book.
Yes,
that'll be me. That'll be me. I'm sorry. Like my Iron Man 128 Demon in a Bottle. You know, it's signed by Dave Michelin, and I saw him, and he was like, "Oh, ready to sign right on the fucking right on Iron Man's helmet," and I'm like, "No." I opened the book. He looked at me like, "Okay," and he signed the inside of the book. You know, the first page, and I was like, "Yeah, thank you." You know what I mean? Like, I'm cool with that. You know, but don't mess my artwork up. Don't take away from the art, man. Don't and. Yeah, Justin.
I'd say that used to be, that was a popular back before CGC and back before things getting graded. I know that was a popular thing to do. Was a lot of artists would sign the inside, and that was just a very normal thing. It was just like I don't want to mess up the art.
Mess up the art, man.
I will say personally, I don't mind signatures. I do think that signatures can be done right depending on the covers. There are careless signatures for sure. So, you know, if people are getting things signed, I would say try to guide them, tell them where you want that to be signed. You know, I have seen some cool ones that I feel like actually work in a way for the artist. And I would say, you know, if you want to get whoever did the actual artwork, have them sign it, that would be, I feel like, make the most sense. But of course, you know, you have your writers. Man. Obviously, I have an X-Men one that's signed by Stan Lee. I'm not complaining. X-Men
1 signed by Stan Lee.
I'm getting rid of it. I'm getting rid of it.
he could have signed that with mud, bro. And and I'll be happy with that, bro.
For real. You know, like for me now, I'm just like, here, sign on a file card. And let me take a picture of you with my book signing the file card for authenticity. This will be my certificate.
You know, I would be okay with a selfie. Like I would like a picture with the artist.
Yes, that'll be dope.
But that is extra. That is something that
totally different. You got to come out of pocket for that one.
Yeah.
You got to come out of pocket.
Hey, you know,
what's your feelings on artists who sign too many books? You know, because there's like artists out there that like sign everything, and then I feel like that devalues a lot of things. Like if it's a guy who does one convention every 10 years and you get a signature, like I feel like that's so much better than a guy who does every convention and signs everything.
Well, but here's the thing. So what about the little kid that just wants a signature to want a signature, right? So then that little kid you multiply by 100. And you have fans, right? So now the artist is not going to turn down little kids just because he's devaluing a signature. You know, he wants to be true to the fan, and he wants to sign that. But I get what you're saying.
I understand what you're saying.
It does pull away. I mean, some people talk about Todd McFarlane. He used to have a certain signature, and then he changed his signature. So like the old ones, like Rare, you know, now or whatever. But you know, people do point things like that out, and it can be overdone for sure. But obviously, they're not gonna stop, especially if they're making money on it.
That's another thing, right? That's what I was gonna say. When it comes down to an economic thing, I don't see the problem in it because they gotta eat too. You know, and who knows what their situation is? Maybe they need to sign all these books because they don't have a good deal. You know what I mean?
Right.
They never made enough money through publishings and all that. So I could see that, and I agree with Justin on that. Like, you know, I'm cool with all the signing stuff. I'm just not cool where you sign it. You know what I mean? I have a problem about that. I don't like where you sign it because I mean I saw somebody. Hey guys, what's going on, brother? So it's like, oh man, I gotta remember the artist. It was actually somebody I met through the Instagram who showed me a book, and it was a Spider-Man issue, and I forgot the artist who signed it. I'm kicking myself right now, but he actually drew a Spidey face over Spider-Man's face.
What?
Oh wow.
He did like the stupid little Spidey drawing, like the face over Spider-Man's face. And if I'm not mistaken, it was the 300. I think it was 300 or the 299. And he drew with a silver marker right over his face. And dude showed it to me, and we were talking about it. He was so pissed off. He was like, I just got it back. And that's the thing. He sent it out to get signed. And he wasn't there. Right. So when he got it back, he was all souped up, and he saw it, and he was like, yo, motherfucker, like, why would you do that? Like, not only did he put the face, but then he signed it all over his body, and then put the fucking Spider-Man face over Spider-Man's face.
Right.
Like, and it was like retarded.
He was in happy artist mode.
That's exactly. He was a little too giddy that day. He was like too excited.
If that's the case, just send me a white sheet of paper and do that same thing on a white piece of paper and sign that and send that to me.
That would be dope. That would be dope. I would love
original art right there.
I love that right there. That you got me.
Do you guys know this? MJ was saying, am I right in saying that you can only find Mark Jeweler copies in newsstand editions? I'm not sure if that's accurate or not.
No, it's not. It's not, because I've seen some that are that are
not. Okay.
Yeah, I've seen some.
Just wanted to highlight that. Love those Batman covers. Skeme, Martin says.
He a big DC man. I have no DC man. I'm like.
Chet was saying Skeme got 2 strikes, doesn't like signatures, and Eagles fan. LOL, I follow them anyway. No, he's good. So Chet,
I'm not anti-signatures. It's just
we're not anti-signature.
It's just got to be in the appropriate place.
There you go. Everything has its place.
Don't go over the character.
Right.
Right. And like, I don't even really like you going over the title.
Yes. Leave the title alone.
You know, like if you want to go over some background, like alley shot of, Spidey in the alley and it's a
right on the side somewhere.
Don't. It's about placement.
All right, but that still doesn't explain the Eagle fan. So.
Eagle fan. Hey man,
don't you see? He was trying to draw it out. He was trying to like keep talking about it so nobody mentions it, and you had to mention it. Now I want to go hunt some cool, unique direct boxes I can find in my Please. Go look them up, man. Look them up, man. If you find any 90s stuff, shit. You're saying direct? Definitely go with the early stuff. If you're looking for direct, get the early stuff, man. 70s, late 70s, early 80s, man.
Good to grab.
Get those direct ones, man. That's where it's at.
So Unruly here says, what pisses me off and shows you how little of a shit the publishers care about fans. Put the damn barcode on back. Why take up any room on the cover? That's interesting. Why put the barcode on the front at all? Why not put it on the back? Which I know nowadays it is, but
right.
Or,
In the beginning,
or not nowadays, but yeah.
Well, back then, 2000s. I mean, that had to do with the printing press. That had to do with publishing. When they had put things out, you had to have it in front so they could scan it as it goes by, so they could do their count. That's part of their count. You know what I mean? So that's why it was in the front, guys. Yeah. You know what I mean? That was part of how they
had ads. If you had ads in the back, like whatever toy company or bubblegum company or whatever, do you really think a company wants a barcode in the middle of their
ad? Right.
The ad.
Right. So a lot of that plays into it too. You know what I mean?
Right. We got Desired Comics hanging out.
What's good, Nige?
Good to see you, Nigel.
It's good, brother.
Guys, I just had an incredible interview with him on Saturday. You guys check that out if you missed it.
Please go check that show. Please, that was a great show, man. Great, and I'm seeing the results, brother. Justin, I'm seeing the results.
Right,
I'm seeing the results.
It's going, it's going good, man. It's going good, man.
Because what happened was Nigel is now doing a giveaway, so that to help sub up Justin's YouTube
channel,
account. His channel, so we can get subs, get views and get subs. So he's gonna give out some graded comics, gonna give out some goodies. You know what I mean? So we're definitely trying to get his channel up. So it's working.
Cool.
It's working.
It's cool.
Man.
Yeah, man. It's cool. He's a good guy, guys. Nigel's he's one of the best.
Hell yeah, he's a great guy.
Planet says exactly. Just give me the damn book. I don't give a what edition. I just want the freaking book.
Book, exactly.
Planet, you are
just
right
give me
on
the
point.
book. You know what I mean? Who cares, man?
Oh, sorry, the chat just jumped on me.
All good.
We got K Crash in here too. Okay, let me.
You got to get K Crash. That you Skeme. You know K Crash.
Yeah.
You know Crash. Arsonist.
Yeah.
He did the logo.
Yeah,
man.
What
up, Crash?
Nice.
That's the homie right there. That's the homie. We got to get Crash on next week, man. We got to get Crash on next week.
We got Hyper Combo in the house too. Him and Newbie's been doing a lot of great things on YouTube. Good to see you, Hyper. Thanks for stopping in.
Yeah.
Let's see. Shelly says, also for me, signed books in my collection are staying in my collection. So the value isn't a variable for me in that regard.
Right,
yeah, that's fair.
Exactly.
Exactly. If I feel like if you out there chasing signatures, it's personal, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? That should be personal. If you're gonna stand on the line for 3 fucking hours and you waiting through and you missing opportunities, especially if you're looking to get more signatures, you know what I mean? Because you know you're spending all your time on this line with this artist, and I'm gonna miss an opportunity by the time I'm done with him because I got other books I want to get signed. That takes a lot, man. And you should. And if you out there doing signatures just so you could flip it on eBay, you're a bastard.
Yeah, that's whack.
You know, that's whack, man.
Chet says, with all due respect to signature preference, I have tons of SIGs on my books. Sometimes they don't land where I like, but value is always gassed just because. Yeah. So I know Chet is a big signature guy, and it's very impressive. I mean, he has a lot of Stan Lee stuff, lot of Stan Lee stuff, all X-Men. The man is a diehard X-Men.
Nigel also.
Nigel too. Yeah, he just showed off a bunch of
he got dope stuff too. But that it's when you look at why they're collecting them, it makes total sense.
Yeah,
you know, and there's nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? When
it's a reasoning.
There's reasoning behind it. You know what I mean? It's not just I'm chasing signatures because of the value, because you know I want to flip it one day and make fucking $1,000. No, man, that is personal. You know what I mean? You want to have your artist with you, and that signature is a representation of them.
Yeah. But isn't that what collecting is supposed to be? Collecting is supposed to be personal. You know, like I hate everything. I hate when guys just like, let me get this so I can flip it. Like whatever, do whatever you want to do, make your money, whatever. But like you're taking away from the true collectors who just want something. So like if you're going to get a signature because it's for you, then do it for you because that's what you do. But the guys who just like, let me get these signatures and then go on eBay and sell it for 10 times what it's really worth just because it's a signature. I'm like, nah, that's whack.
Yep. Michael here. So if he says, I'll never buy a signed book. I'll only have books signed when I'm with the artist or writer because it's special to me. And I like that too. When you can get the experience of having it signed, having somebody there, that is a special moment that no one can take away from you.
Exactly. Like that's what it's about right there. That's what it's all about right there, man. And those are the things that I appreciate. You know, when I speak to a collector and they're telling me that's why I got my signature or that's why I'm chasing these signatures, you know,
everything should be a story. There should always be a story.
Something behind it.
Right. Some type of connection, some type of story that you can say, like in 1999, I was at so-and-so. I drove 10 hours just to get this guy's signature and a picture with him. It's a story.
Right. Totally. And when I got up to him, his breath stank, but I ain't care.
How close you getting, man? What's going on here?
Hey. Let's not get personal.
Steve has a question for you, Morbius. He says, if that did happen to your comic, what's the first word that comes out of your mouth, brother? Oh, I don't know what he's talking about here.
Yeah. Hey man, question. What happened to the comic though? Well, when you saying that he drew over it?
Oh, maybe that's what he's talking about. This is older. Yeah, this is from older.
Yeah, the first words out my mouth you could only imagine. Fuck. It starts with a B.
Let's keep it PG here. Let's keep it PG.
You bastard. Salute to all the bastards.
They're raging, saying everyone has their flavors as long as they love the comic.
You know, exactly. And just before that, I read the comment where she was saying that she don't mind having signatures. You know what I mean? That's a difference of opinion, and that's okay. If you don't mind having signatures on your comic, and there's a reason why you like signatures on your comic, more power to you. You know what I mean? Like that's what we collect for. We collect for our preferences. We collect for our own desires. You know what I mean? But when you collect for other people, that's when I'm not messing with you. You know what I mean? When you out here collecting and chasing other people's collection, you got a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're not a collector. I'm gonna tell you right now, you're not a collector. You know.
K Crash said, "Oh, great interview with Desire. Appreciate that, man."
Bro.
Michelle said, "Nigel is awesome, and I just found out he's local to me. That's cool. Happy he's helping drive traffic to Noga's channel through the giveaway. Yeah, it's really really nice of them, and that's dope, cool. Man. Yeah, that you guys are local. So I'll be down there in Baltimore at some point, for sure. You know, when we get the Comic-Cons opening up again." Raging says, "I have a Captain America shield that has signatures now. I decided I like my books without signatures now." So that's cool. And I've seen that. I've seen people like with the toys, like with the, a big shield, getting them signed by different artists. I think it's awesome.
I'm waiting for the cons. You know why, right? Because I'm about to get both of these bad boys signed. You know what I'm saying?
I've seen that get signed too.
You know what I'm saying? I'm
by Starlin.
Yep. I got my other one. It's back here, but I'm getting them signed.
Yo, what's the first signature you chasing on that?
Sterling, bro.
My
Sterling.
Man.
Yeah. Sterling. You cannot have a Thanos without a Jim Sterling signature on it. You can't. It's impossible. You know what I mean? It's impossible. You know? So that's the guy I'm chasing. When he comes back out, I want them signatures on there. You know what I mean? But definitely, guys. Like, what's up?
Sorry, I do want to highlight Chet here saying, to be real, I have been getting a lot of new books signed to flip for the purchase of bronze and silver signed. Here is and this is probably a topic that we'll have to cover another time.
We gotta cover that,
but I do understand that aspect of it as well. I know we're also we're talking about people flipping and things like that, and it has that negative vibe to it. However, however, it can help a collector get what they really want. Then is that bad? That's the question.
No, it's not bad. Remember, we spoke about it. Yeah. When you flipping to take advantage, that's where there's a problem. But when you flipping like on a genuine
investing.
Right, you're invested. Right. So let's say you selling me a comic. Let's say like Nigel, I purchased, the first Gwen Stacy off him, and it was graded comic, but he sold it to me at value price. You know what I mean? And he showed me the market value. He broke it down to me. Right. He was like, listen, this is where it's at right now. I could give it to you for this, and boom. And eventually you'll be able to make an investment off of it. So that's what you call a beautiful flip right there.
Like a fair market value.
Fair market value. That's beautiful. He wasn't trying to take advantage of me, as a seller, as a consumer. So that's where I don't have a problem with it. Like what he was just saying, dope, bro. Dude, that's what I mean. If I could sell comics, I would, but I don't because I'm a hoarder, so I can't get rid of none of my comics. You know what I mean?
He's got other problems.
I got issues, bro. I got issues. You know what I'm saying?
Literally, you got a lot of issues.
Let's not even go there.
Let's see. Hyper says CGC facilitators who took my 90s Jim Lee X-Men books got an additional signature from a dude who wasn't even part of the book. There's a story for you. Okay. Man, that's weird. Now that's on CGC, but that's still that is very random and strange. How does that work?
That's crazy, right? How did they pull that off?
Somebody wasn't keeping track or paying attention or
Morbius preach.
There you go, man.
But one thing I'm gonna say about that too, when we go, because I know we're talking about Newsstand and comics, and now we're jumping on signatures and stuff. That's what happens when you drink on the show. But it's okay. It's okay. It's a great topic. Either way. But and that's another thing too, where you have people who will come and want a signature from an artist, but the artist never even worked on the book. Like has nothing to do with the book.
Right.
It's like why you want a signature from them. It's why you want them to sign that book. There's no connection to that book. Where's the story? Where's the history behind that merger of signature and comic book with this artist? There is none. So but going back to the Newsstand and the Rec, man, it's such a dope show. Love you guys. I love you, Steve.
Love you, Steve.
Love you, Steve. You're the man, bro. To go back to that, it all stems to with knowing the time frames. Like going back to that, we got to keep going back to that because a lot of people get confused with that. And I've spoken to people who collect and they don't understand that. They're like, well, but I don't get it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But Newsstand, a newsstand, and it's like, yes, but a newsstand a early newsstand is really not valuable if you're looking at it as value's sake.
Right.
The true comic head sparks the interest. The interest while good old capitalism dominates the open market. The way it is. You already know, Crash. You already know, Crash. We keep saying it.
So said I had to share a paint on one of my Marvel Spotlights 5s. People were getting mad, but it was my choice and it's still my book. It'll never be for sale. Yeah, I mean, you have the right. If you ask for it, I mean, if people get mad, like, it's not their book, so they. I mean,
it's not their books. Who cares?
Right? You should be. Look, if you asked the guy to spit on it, you have the right.
You have the right,
gross,
right?
But,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's. I'm surprised.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's the other thing that's really weird when something that's in your possession, people get defensive over something that's in your collection.
That's not theirs. That's not
right.
theirs.
It's not yours.
If I have 10 copies and I choose to rip up 8 copies, you can't get mad at me.
Right.
It's mine.
It's yours. You paid for that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So
and you have to deal with that consequence of ripping them up. That's on you.
Exactly. So I don't understand why people get mad at someone else and what they do with their books.
Yeah.
You know, and I thank Justin because Justin helped me get that perspective. Because when we first started talking about, I was very like black and white about certain things, you know, and Justin being the devil advocate that he is, you know, he made me realize, like, you know what, you got to be able to see things from both angles, you know. And when it came down to like the example, like a flipper who's collecting 10 books, you know, and me initially would think like, yo, what are you doing? You know what I mean? You trying to get over on somebody, but it's like, hey, maybe he's collecting those 10 books for family members, or he got friends that can't get those books and he's trying to help them out, or IG family that can't get it and he wants to send them out to his IG family.
Like you want to know the full story.
Right. You want to know the full. So that's something that, you know, I've learned, you know what I mean, on being, you know, hosting with Justin. It's like, you know what, sometimes you got to step back and look at it from the other person's perspective on why they doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you just got to send somebody else to the store to get your book so you don't see
exactly. So you don't see. and like I said, go back to my original post. You know what I mean? You still could check them though.
Right.
You still could be like, excuse me. Hey, I want to know your story, son. Excuse me. What we got here?
Collector was just saying, I may be the minority in opinion. I used to love getting signatures in person, but since CGC started doing the mail-in submissions, I prefer that because I don't want to wait online for 5 hours anymore. So yeah, that's you know, it's all a give and take. It's all a positive, negative. You have to weigh the pros and cons. So yes, if you want, like, you can get this. The good is if you're waiting online, you get the story, right? And if that's more important to some people, that's more like, I like the story. That's what I want. I will wait the 5 hours because that gives me part of the story.
Right.
But I get it. Like, if we got things, you know, people got things to do, you want to get moving.
Man.
I totally understand the other side of that and wanting to, you know, submit books by mail just because it saves you time, and there's nothing wrong with that. Of
course, there's nothing wrong with that, especially in the pandemic that we're in right now. And that's one of the reasons why I feel they're doing this. Is because of the pandemic, because I'm pretty sure if we wasn't in this situation, we would not be seeing these mail-in submissions the way we're seeing them now. So we just got to go with the flow, go with the times. And of course, a lot of people don't want to expose themselves yet. So that's cool too. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that, guy. You're not by yourself, basically.
I just want to mention we have about 5 minutes going, so
we got to wrap up.
Shell says, I think it's excessive hoarders of variants and signed books that bug me. Flipping to fund your own hobby though, cool. Can't be mad at that. There's a big gray area that, and you're right, there is a big gray area. There are there are people that are doing it for good and doing it for reasons of wanting to make their collection better, and then there's others who want the same thing but are doing it in more shadier ways, I guess we can.
Correct.
So that's really where it comes down, and it's definitely a gray line, as Michelle was saying. So
it really is.
So we are getting close to the end here, and I know I want to kind of keep us on pace for about an hour here.
Skeme.
Yeah.
Let us know. Fill us in. What's going on? What you got coming down the pipeline? What's next? Where you gonna be at? Probably home because of the pandemic, but let us know, brother. Feed us. Let the people know what's coming.
Honestly, like,
and
right now, really, I'm trying to go to Japan the first chance I can get back to go to Japan, because usually I'm in Japan during this time right here, but I missed last year, and of course I'm missing this year. So you can just follow me on all the goods that I got going on nostalgiaking.com. You know, that's where I do all my writing, all my posting of like cool collectibles, new record releases and stuff like that, or on my Instagram, Skeme Richards. And you know, I got a new 45 about to drop, a couple cassette tapes I'm about to drop. So like, yeah, I'm kind of just all over the place. And you know, Monday through Friday, me and Morbius, you know, we do the Mute Monday, the you know, Throwdown Thursday. So you know, I'm just here just trying to like connect the dots and just be in the community with everybody and, you know, build something amazing.
Absolutely, man. And I just put your link in the chat too. So anybody that's hanging out with us right now,
definitely
you can see the website there.
You won't be disappointed. The brother be spinning some amazing music, some classic music that even be bringing me back. You know what I mean? Like I be listening to stuff and I'm like, oh my God, like I totally forgot about this. Yep. You know, so thank you, Skeme, for continuing the culture, for keeping the culture alive, the hip hop culture, the music culture, just the entertainment culture. We thank you. You are a blessed human being. I appreciate you so much, Skeme. You know, you're definitely
love you.
You are definitely in the broski status. You already know. You know what I mean?
I wanted to highlight. Hyper was saying if Skeme had 10 copies of Hulk 181 and he ripped up 8, he said I wouldn't get mad, but I would probably cry.
Nah, Skeme, we fighting. We fighting. I don't care. Everybody know Hulk is my number one, bro. That wall you see right there, that's all Hulk right there. That whole wall is Hulk. Okay?
I like Morbius is like, I love you, man. You're great, but we're fighting. We will fight.
We is fighting. You tear one little paper off that.
But you realize there's like a spiteful collector out there that has multiple copies of something.
Of course.
And would like really piss. Like there's a quick story. There's this dude in Europe who has a copy, a 35mm reel of this rare kung fu flick called Fist of the Double K. Right? No one's in America has a copy. Right? Everybody who has the copy in America, it's in German subtitles. He's the only one who has the English dubbed version of it. Damn. He's made it his mission never to let that out into the public. So collectors have been cramming to get the English version, but he's like, no one's ever going to get it. That's the level of craziness collectors do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
He's not trying to have it. And if there's 8 copies of Hulk 181, he's like, I'm going to just rip up 9 of them, keep this one, and no one's going to get the other 8.
You know, I mean, not for nothing. When I see guys that be posting up, you know, like they have like 5 issues of like these classic Silver Age books that is not in my PC. Right. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking like, yeah, that's why I can't fucking find that damn book, because you got like 5 of them, you bastard.
Right.
And you're not the only one.
At least give them to kids or somebody who wouldn't sell it. You know, like
you know what I'm saying. Like I would feel better. Like I would feel better.
Yeah.
You
know,
if you can't pass it off.
Exactly. Pass it off, man. This is all going to my kids, man. So you know, it's like I'm not taking it with me. You know. And I need that Hulk 181. All right, definitely. Guys. All right, we're almost there.
So
Skeme, once again, I just gotta say, my brother, thank you so much. It's been amazing. I love your input. Of course, as always, you always hold it down wherever you are, wherever you at, wherever you go, my brother. Nothing but blessings to you and your family.
Man. This is great,
dude. This is dope. We might have you again down the road. So this is not gonna stop here, man. We're gonna have you again. We're gonna have reoccurring guests. You know what I mean? Yep. Especially, you know, people who made an impact. Like today is an awesome show. You made a big impact on here. We thank you for thank you for being on here. And you know, but man. So I know we're wrapping up. We got about
Thomas was saying I won't post any of my multiples so Morbius doesn't get mad at me.
Man, I swear, don't you dare. Don't you dare. Especially if there's Silver Age. I'm going to get mad.
All right, fellas. Just a reminder, it's every Tuesday, 7:30 Eastern time. Me and Morbius will be back again. We might have another new guest, so we're just trying this out. Skeme, you are perfect for this launch. And
thank you so
definitely
much.
We'll have you back on at some point.
Salute.
All your information's in the description. So same with Morbius, guys. Make sure you sub Morbius up.
Sub me up, hit me up. I'm trust me, guys. I got a lot coming down the pipeline. I'm just waiting for some little, you know, artwork to come through from the homie K Crash, who's gonna hook me up And once that comes through, I'm going to drop all the content in there. You're not going to be disappointed. And like I said, the first video I'm dropping is going to be a room tour. So I'm going to go through all my collection, go through everything, and I'm going to show you what's going down, what is I'm about, and where I'm trying to go with my collection. So definitely sub me up because I will be returning the sub. Everybody who subs me up, I return the favor. So definitely look me up. And don't forget to sub up this guy right here, Justin. And this guy right here. This guy right here too. Okay, these guys, hit them up.
Hell yeah.
Yo, once again, Justin, always a pleasure.
Likewise,
Skeme,
man.
Love you, my brother. When I see you again.
Everybody in the chat, thank you guys.
Everybody
for hanging
in the
out
chat,
with us.
thank you. And everybody who's watching this, catching the replay, we thank you so much for checking us out, man.
Absolutely.
And hit the comments. Let us know what y'all think, man. We really want to know what y'all guys think.
Absolutely.
Real.
All right, y'all.
With that being said, take it easy.
Sending it out. Have a great night.
Peace.